Good to see you.
Good to see you, Steve. It's an honor to be invited to your program.
Well, we'll take a moment and describe. You're right in the belly of the beast, if you will. You're in the middle of this caravan at a place where they stop oftentimes along the way. Describe what people can see behind you and what's going on where you are right now.
Well, we are in an epicenter that is basically, I'm going to step out of the screen and you can see it is thousands that are living right now under a basketball court. This has been a center for people when they are migrating and they're forming a caravan from south of the border of Tapachula. And more than 6,000, Steve, as you can look right now. There's a lot of children. Yes, there's a lot of children, but the majority are military-age males between the ages of 18 to 35 years of age. This is where they are going to wait to see if they can get the permit to transport themselves really into the northern borders of the United States of America. But first, the northern borders to get out of the state of Chiapas. When they get out of the state of Chiapas, they will basically use their type of transportation that they want, as it is bus, as it is a taxi, as it is whatever they want to take. And the majority of them are being smuggled into the United States border. So this is the current situation. 6,000 are waiting for a permit and pushing the immigration officers to do what they're telling them to do.
Yeah, now I want to talk to you a little bit about how they get into the U.S., but first I want to ask a practical question. Looking at that scene behind you, it looks like squalor. How do they eat? How do they get water? How do they sleep at night? What are the sanitary conditions of just what we're looking at right there?
Well, the ones that they have been part of this problem, the ones that they created this problem, it is the United Nations and the Global Compact on Migration and all these other organizations, international organizations, that is UNICEF and all these other people. They're the only ones that they're here. Sometimes they're supporting, sometimes they're not. But they're supporting when there is a crisis, when they are walking, when there is, in a dire situation, when they are, dehydrated. So they're the ones that they're giving them water, some kind of food. Catholic churches over here in Mexico also providing them food, providing the basic utensils for them to stay. Some of them they have bought, as you can see to my right, they have bought trash bags. And they cut the trees right here, Steve. This is what I wanted to tell you. They cut the trees. They cut our trees from our ecosystem. They just cut these bamboo trees, and they just made these houses. Also over here. Let us walk a little bit so I can show you. I'm walking right here with you, Steve. So they cut some parts of the trees, some bamboo trees, and they use these kind of bags to make their houses. All of them, they're just made houses right now. You see behind me. Look at how thick this tree that they just cut. Look at this, and they tied it off with a specific, part of the tree, this kind of bamboo kind of stuff. So this is the way that they're living. This is particularly the way they're drying their clothes right here on the bottom, because they have been sweating this whole time, more than 30 kilometers walking. And the trash is inevitable right there on the bottom also.
So there is no sanitary. There is no cleanup. No. It's a mess. And the smells, you told me earlier, are horrendous where you are for all the obvious reasons. But you just touched on something that I don't think a lot of people pay attention to, especially those that are advocating for open borders and so forth. What about the damage to the ecosystem? These are delicate ecosystems. They're getting pounded, covered with trash. When you get to the southern border there along the Rio Grande, that is a semi-arid part of the country, so it's a fragile ecosystem piled up with backpacks, fecal matter. Oftentimes, too often, bodies of the people that don't make it. I mean, the damage to the ecosystem has to be tremendous, Oscar.
That is horrible. And it starts from the Darien Gap, Steve. We have seen it, Ben Berquam, my brother and I, when we have walked in it. The damage to the ecosystem, it's an ecocide. Really what they have done, they have completely destroyed a pristine jungle. And it is just, it goes along the way. It goes along borders. It goes along the disaster. It goes along this disorganization. Nobody's organized. It's just trash all over the place because they don't have a place to deposit the trash. But ultimately, this is the living that they're accustomed to, some of them, that they don't have a place to put their stuff. And, and now to survive, now they have to cut some of our trees that they are from the locals right here. And the locals are not happy about it, Steve. They're not.